Hello and welcome to another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. I'm Kaiju Kim. Hope you're all doing well on this lovely afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. There's been some news popping up in the world of Godzilla and Kaiju in general, but we'll be talking about mostly Godzilla tonight. Yeah, I don't really talk about recent news on this channel usually. I mean, this isn't a news show, but this is a show where fans gather and talk about all the nerdy stuff that they are into. So I figured, why not talk about it tonight? And I have not one, but two fabulous guests with me here tonight. First of which being the sassy, the classy, the wonderful Donny Winter making his return to Chill with Kaiju Kim. Hello, Donny. How are you?
Hello, Twin. It's good to see you. I've missed you.
I've missed you too, Twin. How's
Thank
it
you for having
going?
me back. I'm doing well, and thank you as always for having me back.
Of course. And up next, we have longtime viewer, first time guest, Mr. Gzilla 100. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How's it going? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Fantastic. Let's see who we have in the chat tonight. We got bonus commentary. What's up, Derek? How's it going? And Michael Hamilton. Yes, right.
Michael.
And we also got Nathan from the Monster Island Film Vault, the man of many podcasts. All right. So let's get the show on the road. Before we get into our main topic of the evening, we have a new, well, I would say new face, but you're not showing your beautiful face tonight. That's all right. But you're new to the show, and that means you have to answer my three questions, Mr. Gzilla.
All right.
And those three questions are, how did you get into Godzilla? What's your favorite Godzilla film? And what is your favorite non-Godzilla kaiju film?
I got into Godzilla because of my father. My favorite Godzilla film, it's obviously the original, and my favorite non-Godzilla film would probably be Mothra from 1961.
Oh, okay. Oh, you just made Donny very happy.
Yes, that did make me very happy. Shameless Mothra fan over here, but nobody knew that, right?
Of course.
I mean, Mothra 1961 is the closest movie, in my opinion, that's just as good as the original Godzilla.
I would agree with that, actually, even though a lot of people tend to debate me with that. But, you know, I'm resilient. I will debate about that till the end of time.
And also want to say hello to RJ Godzilla 81. Hello, at least Kim preps for her streams. I try. Thanks for stopping in. Sometimes it's a challenge, but you know, we'll see how things go tonight. Alrighty, so we got a lot of stuff to go over, particularly Monsterverse stuff. But first, before we get into all the Monsterverse stuff, we do have some other Godzilla-related news to talk about. For example, we have Godzilla against Mechagodzilla coming into American theaters on Godzilla Day, November 3rd.
Woo!
Woohoo!
That's so exciting.
So I unfortunately will not be able to attend because I have a wedding to go to that day. But what about you guys? Will you be seeing this film, and what are your overall thoughts in this film?
Gisela, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I will be seeing it. I will be seeing it with three good friends of mine, and this is my sixth favorite Godzilla film right now.
Ooh.
Okay.
I love the action. I like the character stuff. I like the main character. You feel bad for her, and seeing her like rise up and prove herself, I really like.
Yeah, like we all know that the Kiru duology are like those are some of my favorite films. So when I saw this news, at first I was kind of mind blown. It was so unexpected. So I am excited. I'm hoping that it'll be nearby in a location in my area. And if it is, I don't care. I might go with friends. I might take myself out on a date. Who knows? We'll see.
You should totally take yourself out on a date. I think everyone deserves to take themselves out on a date every once in a while.
I completely agree with that. Matt's here.
Oh, we
And
got a
Godzilla.
wild Matt Frank appeared in the chat. Hello.
You've got a
What's up?
big group going. Ooh.
That's cool.
Oh, we also got Doomzilla in the chat. What's going on? Hello, hello. Thank you all for
Un-
coming.
Unfortunately, in my own friend group, I mean, I'm not the only person that likes Godzilla, but I'm like the only person that obsesses about Godzilla to this extent.
Yeah.
So if I ask them to go, they might be like, you know.
Mm.
But if I cry, then maybe that will coax them into coming with me.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta turn on the waterworks,
Well-
or just make a really cute face like I do with my husband. Just like,
Will,
See, that
will this
doesn't
be your
work out for me.
will this be your will this be Donnie, will this be your first time, if you do say, your first Japanese Godzilla movie theater experience?
No. I saw Godzilla 2000, but it was the Americanized version. I did see Shin Godzilla in theaters when it came out on its limited release, which was so cool. And the theater that I was in too was like really full of people. So I was just like, yes, take my money, take our money. Godzilla needs it.
This will be my first one. I mean, obviously I've seen the American Godzilla movies, but I've never seen a Japanese one.
oh,
That's
okay, well,
really
this should
cool.
be
It's
an interesting experience for you then.
Yeah,
It
like
will.
after you do attend it, let us know how it goes. Like reflect on it a little bit because I'm always eager to hear about people's perspectives on their first venture into seeing a Godzilla film for the first time, a Japanese Godzilla film for the first time in theaters.
Indeed. As for me, like I said, unfortunately, I will not be able to see it, but I do enjoy the film. Although I'm nitpicking. I have a nitpick for this film. For whatever reason,
I'm here
What?
for the drama.
for whatever reason, it always bugged me that they kind of retconned the whole Godzilla's bone dissolving in the first film. Like, I mean, I know this isn't the
Yeah.
first time they've retconned anything, but for whatever reason, this particular thing bothers me. Like, how could you build Kiryu from the bones of the original Godzilla? What if the bones dissolved? What do you mean? Like, just
Right.
Kim,
but
I have a question. Now obviously, retconning this, obviously they retcon the bones not being melted. But what are your thoughts of them retconning pretty much Godzilla 1954 in the beginning of Godzilla versus Megaguirus?
I thought it was
Ooh.
weird. Like, I guess because they have the Millennium suit in like black and white footage, so that on the surface level is kind of weird. But Donnie, what do
Oh,
you think?
Artistically, it was interesting. And clearly they did it though just to introduce the main, character and the experiences that she went through, the gravity of the situation as it transitioned into Godzilla's other attacks, right? Um, I mean that whole film I think is just a wild ride. So I've just learned to look at Godzilla versus Megaguirus as just shameless fun. Now, for this film, respectively, my biggest wish is that the theaters were doing like a double feature with this film and Tokyo SOS, because we all know that Tokyo SOS is one of my favorite Godzilla films because I can't imagine why, right?
Oh, I wonder why. I can't think of it.
It's such a good film, and I think that it does a nice job like tying everything up and putting a bow on top of everything. So,
I mean,
but I'll go ahead.
I like Tokyo SOS, but I don't think they are going to do a double feature. I think they're doing this one because it's its 20th year anniversary. So
Right.
that's probably why they're doing that one for this year.
Yeah, that's my best guess for that too.
Because
Matt, I agree
Oh.
with that comment. Sorry, I'm like
What did
getting
Matt
ahead in
say?
the comments.
Was it the comment you were referring to?
Well, that one and the
Oh,
Mothra
and the Mothra.
is
Oh, okay.
is the best hands down.
yeah, I feel
Yes.
that's my favorite monster from SOS. I love that version so much.
Oh,
The
yeah,
way
that is-
she flaps her wings is impressive in itself.
indeed.
It's just
Indeed.
the oh my gosh. I need a moment. The
Yeah,
the entrance scene where she like flies over the building with the main characters, and then you see her flying over the cityscape in front of the sunset, sobbing. When my 14-year-old eyes saw that film for the first time, I was just like otherworldly, out of body experience.
Well, when that film came out, I was non-existent.
Oh, I feel ancient now. I feel so ancient. I was in high school when it came out. Oh.
Oh my. So Nathan brings up something interesting here. There's going to be a never before seen footage and a special message from Toho during the screening. Now I'm mad. I
Oh.
can't go.
What do you
Oh.
mean by that, Monster Island Film Vault? What do you mean by that?
I'm hoping there's some more details on that, unless they're just saving it for the actual premiere.
Oh, a special message from Toho. Oh man. I have a wedding to go to that day, so unfortunately I will not be at this screening.
What weddings are a wonderful time, though.
It is a wonderful time. I'm so happy for my
How
friend that's getting married, but who
how
scheduled the wedding
dare
in the
your
middle of the week?
friend schedule their wedding
How did
on
they not
Godzilla's
know? Did they
birthday?
not realize? It's okay. I'll forgive her. All right.
That's exciting, though.
Nathan's theory is that they'll officially announce the new Japanese Godzilla film.
I hope
Ooh,
so.
How awesome would that be?
I did not think of that. Oh, that would be phenomenal.
Ooh.
I want to see a new Japanese Godzilla movie. The last good one was
Brendan.
Hi, Brendan.
Shin Godzilla.
Yes, it's been a while.
It has been a while. I would like to see some new stuff from Toho. Quick shout out to Autistic Lizard Productions. Hello, hello, and Leslie Chambers. What's up?
Hello.
Hello. All right, so have we shared our thoughts on Godzilla against Mechagodzilla?
I mean, you know me,
Um,
I have to limit myself because I could give an entire dissertation. So
I'm sure you could give a dissertation on anything, my friend.
if it's Mothra related, that's for sure. So if it was Tokyo SOS, we'd be here for like 3 days. So
I can set aside a different stream for that for you, just for you, Donnie.
I kind of want to debate because I think Godzilla against Mechagodzilla is the better film out of the two.
Oh, hot take.
Ooh. Well, I mean, I do think it has its strengths over Tokyo SOS, but I think that Tokyo SOS has us like I don't know, like I feel like it really bridges the gaps between the film and the other parts of the Godzilla franchise that it makes reference to. Whereas in the first film, you just get like a little peppering of like, oh, Mothra 1961, more of the Gargantuas, etc. So
You know, King Kong escapes his continuity in the Kiryu saga.
really, I did not know that.
You guys didn't know that?
No.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to
King
remember
Kong
what you're.
escapes.
Do you
It's been a hot
explain?
minute since I've seen this film, so I'm trying to remember what you're referring to.
Oh, Matt, we love you. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, bye, Matt. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you, Matt, for coming by. But because I was watching some guy's review, he was reviewing all the Godzilla films, and he mentioned all the films in the continuity, and he said King Kong escapes. I'm like, I never knew that.
Ooh,
Oh,
fun
interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'll have to go do more research on that because my nerd brain, there's a squirrel inside spinning around.
fact. All right, so let's move on to our next topic. Awesome film, and hopefully, I wish I could see it in theater and get that. All right. All right, so our next bit of news. Hang on one second. I need to. We're going to talk about the Kong anime. You guys have any thoughts on the Kong anime?
You can go first, Donnie.
Well, okay. Please don't eviscerate me, anybody. But like, I'm pretty okay with it. Like, I'm gonna watch it. Am I like excited about it? Kong really has never really done a lot for me as a character. I loved Godzilla versus Kong though, mind you, like it was a phenomenal film. But yeah, I will watch it. I'm really tuned into the Monsterverse for obviously Godzilla and Mothra and these other, classic Toho characters. How about you, Gisela?
I'm really excited for. I mean, I was always a big fan of King Kong. I like King Kong, but I was never that big of a fan. When I saw Godzilla versus Kong, I definitely appreciated the characters so much more than I originally did. So I'm really excited about this, and the MonsterVerse is my favorite cinematic universe right now.
Oh, good, good. I do strongly appreciate the Monsterverse, and I think that now that they have more wiggle room to expand on the story, that there will be greater opportunity to build in context and develop the characters that we've seen. And I'm hoping that the obviously in Godzilla versus Kong, there was so much that we didn't know about with regard to
Yeah.
Skull Island and what happened between Kong Skull Island and Godzilla versus Kong. So I'm hoping that the anime will explore that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that too. I'm hoping to see more of Gia and like her people and see like maybe we can see how she and Kong got connected, that kind of thing.
Can we just agree on one thing?
Hmm.
That the
Maybe.
MonsterVerse is better than the Snyderverse.
I've not seen the entire Spider-Verse, so I don't think I can properly pass judgment on it quite yet.
Same here. I can't speak much for the Spider Verse, although maybe
Snyderverse.
yes, my 4-year-old nephew might have something to say about it. But
Wait, I said Snyderverse.
oh,
You said, I
Snyderverse.
thought you said Spider-Verse. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Oh wow, we're older than you, so our hearing isn't quite as good.
Yeah.
damn it! Back in my time.
Young whippersnappers.
I feel like a grandmother.
Yeah, I can't really comment on the Snyderverse either, though.
Yeah, I can't either,
I
sadly.
hate it. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that universe. I hate it. Let's just move on.
Righto.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's fair. Alrighty. Did we have anything else to say? There's not much to say about the Kong anime because we haven't really seen anything yet. So
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
I think it'll
I'm
be good.
cautiously optimistic, yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic.
cautious optimism. That's always a good way to
See, I'm on this cusp of I wanna be, hypercritical of everything, but another part of me just, I just need content. Just, feed my brain with giant monsters destroying things.
Off-topic question: what were your thoughts of Godzilla beating King Kong in Godzilla versus Kong? Like the way he did it.
I was alright with it.
same.
Yeah, I would have I feel like I would have been big mad if Kong won. But I think what they did is the characters honored one another in their own respective ways, which developed them both, which I think hopefully satisfied fans of both.
Yes, they did a better job than another film, Batman v Superman. Sorry, I had a very bad cough there.
Oh yeah, you should get that checked out. Let me get it.
Oh no.
All right, so let's briefly share our thoughts on the MonsterVerse in general itself. So, did we think the MonsterVerse was going to survive beyond Godzilla versus Kong? Gisela, what are your thoughts?
I mean, there's already plans for fifth movies, and we're getting a Godzilla show and the King Kong show. So
Yeah,
I would
we're going to
say,
get to that, but the question is, did you before any of that was announced? Did you think that the MonsterVerse was going to end?
Yeah, just out of
with Kong?
curiosity.
Yeah.
I didn't really know because I didn't really know at the time. I didn't really know, but it kind of made us wonder what's gonna happen after, because obviously this series isn't as planned out as Marvel and I don't want no not DC, just Marvel because obviously Marvel has stuff planned until the end of time. No, I thought it would be Godzilla vs. Kong, and that would be it. And I would have been satisfied if that was it.
Yeah, same here. I feel like it ended on a good note. Yeah, I'm willing to bet it probably would have stopped there if it didn't do so well in theaters. But yeah, I'm actually kind of glad to see that we're getting more Godzilla stuff from somewhere, while Toho just kind of puts Godzilla on the back burner for the most part.
I kind of have a theory why I think that movie did as well as it did.
Okay.
Like it was the first movie of its kind, because obviously the pandemic was horrible, and it was the first movie of its kind, big movie. So obviously people were just eager just to get out of the house. So I think that's probably why. That could be like half of the reason why it did so well, or just people wanted to see Godzilla and Kong beat each other up.
Yeah, I would say initially, I figured Godzilla versus Kong would be the final film, because we were kind of told that as well. But of course, because of the pandemic, the film did do better, I think, than expected, if memory serves me correctly. But I know that there was like a lot of conversation about, like, maybe because of the pandemic, the Monsterverse wouldn't continue beyond this point. Because I mean, if we think about it, like if Godzilla versus Kong had been released during a time when there's still wasn't like a lot of closures and stuff
Yeah.
like that, like the film probably would have done even better, right? So I think that that's probably the thought process that they had in being like, let's continue the Monsterverse. Why not? And I love that they are expanding out their different like modalities with how they're going to be presenting parts of the Monsterverse too.
What are your guys' thoughts on the last previous films, Godzilla 2014, Skull Island, and then King of Monsters?
I didn't care for 2014.
Damn it.
I liked I liked Kong Skull Island. Loved King of the Monsters.
That is exactly my same progression as well. like 2014 had like its strong moments. Like I really enjoyed it. The characters just did not do it for me. And I know people criticize the characters from Godzilla King of the Monsters, but I still found those characters even slightly more interesting than the ones from the first film. Kong Skull Island, I thought, was a very solid film. It was just Kong, and because it was Kong, I was like, I watched it for the
Kong's
continuity
cool.
and
I
Tom
like Kong.
Hiddleston and all that.
My thoughts are I really like Godzilla 2014. I think it has its issues. It's definitely not a perfect film. I don't like the teasing of the monsters, but it was satisfying. Like the final battle was satisfying. Bryan Cranston, for the time he did have, was good. Ken Watanabe, is that how you say it?
Ken Watanabe.
Oh, okay. He was good in the film, and I felt like they did Godzilla justice finally for American audiences after the disaster that happened in '98.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but you brought it up.
So, like, I do think that the 2014 film was a good way to kind of bring Godzilla back into the pop cultural conversation.
Yeah.
I also was very annoyed about like the constant teasing, and it like for Kong Skull Island, we got everything. Like they weren't teasing, like they were just like we're going all in. And then for Godzilla King of the Monsters, like it's when it comes to the teasing is better than 2014, but we still get teased like and I could again write a dissertation about this, but I am still angry and not over the fact that Mothra versus Rodan was a smattering of 10 seconds of them slamming into the air and then panning away. Like, I'm still mad about that.
I like Kong Skull Island. I thought it was a fun film. I love how you could see everything. The monster battles were all in the day. Kong was great. Some of the characters were fine. I like John C. Reilly's character fine enough. And Godzilla King of the Monsters, I don't know if there's a lot of great things like the monster stuff, like Godzilla and Ghidorah. Like that stuff is handled extremely well, and you could definitely tell that Doggery, is that his last name?
Daughtery?
Oh,
Michael Daughtery?
Mike Doherty.
Doherty.
Daughtery,
I'm sorry.
Daughtery.
You could tell that he paid like respect to these characters extremely well, even with Mothra and Rodan not as having as much screen time as Godzilla and Ghidorah. You could definitely tell he did pay respect to those characters.
The musical score of that film, like Bear
Oh,
McCreary's
geez.
musical score in of itself, like just makes that film phenomenal.
Beautiful. I freaking love that score.
What I wish they did do for the final battle, I wish it was more like Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Like Rodan kind of sees like this is kind of wrong, so he joins forces with Mothra and Godzilla, and they team up to fight Ghidorah, like the show era, like with Ghidorah, three-headed monster.
Oh yeah.
I would have liked that, but I also think that I think they were also hesitant to kind of like recreate anything that like that direct, At least that's my theory.
Yeah, the one thing I really liked what they did for that film is that they actually gave Godzilla and Ghidorah like an actual rivalry. Because why is Ghidorah the big bad of the Godzilla series? Because he was in the most movies to fight Godzilla, and that's why he kind of got that status. They actually gave him like a reason why these two hate each other.
Yeah, that's true.
Indeed. Speaking of MonsterVerse things, Vittoria and Goji says there's still an Apple TV Plus show to look forward to, and yes, we will be discussing that. Matter of fact, let's segue into that right now.
Perfect
shall we?
segue. Perfect segue.
All right. So, give me one moment. I'm going to pull up. Not that. This guy, who was just announced to be in the cast, Anders Holm, who is known for his roles in, hold on one second, Workaholics, Game Over Man, The Intern, and How to Be Single, neither of which I have seen.
He looks familiar to me. So like I'm like, okay, like, all right. Godzilla and the Titans. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this show.
I feel like he'll be like comedy relief. It kind of looks like.
Yeah, like I do kind of get that vibe, especially when you listen to like his acting credits too.
Like wasn't like those definitely sound like comedies for sure. So I feel like he'll definitely be like a comedic relief.
Yeah, that's probably what will happen.
Yeah, I think that is the actual title, Nathan, Godzilla and the Titans.
Yeah, I think that's the title.
Yeah. So like regarding the title, I'm kind of like meh, but it's a situation where I'm like just optimistic anyway. I'm hoping that they'll at least explore like some of the history a little bit more. So isn't there like a synopsis that we've gotten so far, like
for the fifth movie?
No, not for
we're still talking about
for the show. Yeah, for the live action show.
I don't think we might have, but I totally forgot.
I have a dim memory of.
I think. I think it's going to be like a human-centric series, is it not?
Yeah, aren't they going to be exploring like the history of the Titans and do that through like the context of like investigating Monarch, the organization? I think that's what it was, if memory serves me correctly.
There was like a picture. I remember it was like it's like someone had like their notepad out and like all this like stuff like pictures. And I thought at first I'm like, is this for Indiana Jones? And then I'm like, oh, it's for the show.
It's for Indiana Jones.
So, Kim, may I pose a question?
You may.
So I guess obviously, like, we don't really know a lot about this show yet. There's a lot that is left to the imagination. So, obviously, this is the first time Godzilla is being brought to streaming in live action form. So, like, are there any like points of excitement or concern that you may have with regard to the show?
Gisela, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go. I feel like I don't know. I feel like Godzilla could be like just a cameo. Like it could be like what they did with him for Singular Point. Like he just kind of appears when the plot kind of needs him to show up.
Yeah, I feel like that's what they're going to go with too.
Mhm.
Um, unfortunately, I don't have Apple TV subscription, so I don't think I'm going to be able to properly watch the show. But I would be interested to see more of the Titans that we only got a glimpse of in King of the Monsters, and maybe have one of the human characters establish a bond with one of the Titans. I don't know.
I hated in Godzilla versus Kong like how I mean I guess they said in like books what happened, but like in the movie they never say like what happened to them.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. I obviously, you know me, I'm hoping that the show explores why Godzilla and Mothra have a symbiotic relationship. Like that was a huge aspect to King of the Monsters, and it has not been touched back on yet, and I think that it needs to be.
I kind of hope they go a little more into like why Godzilla and Kong's ancestors like hated each other.
Right, yeah. I know there's been like some of the directors have mentioned wanting to do like a show that takes place back in ancient times strictly. Um, but I don't think this show will be that show. I don't even know if that's been off the ground at all, or if that's just been an idea.
So
I
Godzilla 93 says the Titans are still asleep by this point. Really? Okay.
well, yeah, Donnie, for what you said, like Godzilla and like the past and stuff, I heard that Doggery had like an idea for like a Godzilla like 10,000 BC film. Is that what you mean?
I think that's what I was thinking about. Yeah. Yeah, because I remember him talking about that in an interview, and I was just like, that sounds super interesting.
I wouldn't mind that. I would be fine with that.
That would be fun.
Right. Yeah, like Godzilla 93, I'm thinking that maybe we would get to see the Titans through flashbacks of some sort. Because if they are, like you said, asleep at that time, that would be the only sensible way to bring them back. See, again, like for this show, there's like so much they could do, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We're still in 2014, apparently. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Doomzilla makes a great point.
Is this the comment you're referring to? All right.
Yeah, that what annoys me about Godzilla vs. Kong is that it didn't tackle key elements of the world building that King of the Monsters established. Yes. So I would say, okay, so 2014 didn't do a lot of world building, but we did get to see a lot of it with regard to Skull Island and definitely King of the Monsters. For Godzilla vs. Kong, it was mostly focused on exploring the Hollow Earth. It didn't really focus else on really expanding like that whole world building that we've seen. Like because like I mean, we even get reference to the fact that since the Titans started attacking and stuff like that, that there was like a bureaucracy, like an expanded bureaucracy created to handle the threats and all of that jazz. Like I would have wanted to know more about that.
Mm-hmm. Leslie Chambers. I can't stand that about the Monsterverse. If Godzilla had a girlfriend, why in Jesus' name?
Hashtag Mothzilla.
Oh, you save your fan fictions for your
Oh,
channel.
oh God.
Oh, I'm not that obsessive, trust me. I do think it's funny that kind of just on social media took off for a while. I do like that they were out like depicted as symbiotic allies though. Like that was for me a refreshing change to them being adversaries.
Yeah. So on that note, so let's briefly talk about the upcoming follow-up to Godzilla versus Kong, which is also directed by Adam Wingard, same guy who did, the first Godzilla versus Kong. So what do we know about this so far? We know a few cast members are returning, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I heard Godzilla and King Kong, they're both going to be coming back.
What?
Well, I really.
I would have
This
never.
is news to me.
Wait, you guys never heard of this? Jesus, it was everywhere.
We're fluent in sarcasm. All right.
Oh.
So I guess to add a supplemental question,
Yes.
who do we think the big bad will be?
Ooh, well, I was talking to someone on a Twitter space one time. They said it could possibly like be a new creature, and I don't know. I think he knows someone that like knows this type of stuff, so I guess he gets that information. So it could be someone new. I don't know.
That is a good point. What do you think, Kim?
I kind of hope it's someone new because that's one of the things I want to see in future MonsterVerse films. Like, as much as I would like to see like a redesigned Biolante or something, because Biolante is my girl. I know I wouldn't mind seeing Godzilla demolish some new monster.
If it was an old monster, who would you like it to be?
Oh,
I like Biolante.
I would love to see Biolante, 1000%.
All right, I got two. Kaiser Ghidorah, Destroya.
Ooh, so okay, so that the Destroyer one especially is interesting because okay, rewind to Godzilla King of the Monsters, the Oxygen Destroyer was used. They could easily use that part of the narrative to, lead into the creation of Destroyer 100%.
I would actually like to see that too. That would be interesting.
Right. I've heard some people mention Mecha King Ghidorah could be an option, but I don't know if they'll do that considering, I mean, Mecha King Ghidorah or King Ghidorah was integral to creating Mechagodzilla in the prior film. So
Indeed. So let's talk about some of our shameless fan desires. Like, what do we want to see happen in the remainder of the MonsterVerse?
Ooh, you can go first, Donnie.
Chapter 1. Okay. Well, I would like to see the characters that we've seen get developed a little bit more. Like I feel like Godzilla versus Kong, as much as I really enjoyed that film, really sidelined certain characters. Like Sarazawa's son. I think Sarazawa's son was meant to be a major character, but for the film itself was sidelined. I think that Millie Bobby Brown's character was not developed significantly. Basically, she kind of just became like this convenient person to follow across the world, and it, like, I don't really think it added much to her character. Plus, her father was sidelined. Like, literally, in the prior film, her mother died. Like, I feel like there could have been a little bit more coping, just a little bit more. I would love to see, of course, more Mothra, but I would also love to see like that history that was created in Godzilla King of the Monsters with regard to the twin doctors being, her, I guess, human priestesses, right? Like, I think that would be really cool to explore since they've just left a lot of like little crumbs and nuggets everywhere that they could pick up on, but the real question is, will they?
I definitely 100% agree with you on the characters. That's one problem that I have with the MonsterVerse films is that they didn't do a really good job of fleshing out the characters. Like, we learned just enough about them to like analyze them or whatever, but as soon as we start like getting to know them and getting attached to them, they either get killed off or it cuts to the next scene. And I agree, the Ren Sarazawa
Oh my
sorely
God.
underdeveloped.
There was going to
Right.
be a deleted scene with him where he was talking to the main guy of Godzilla vs. Kong. And he says, "I'm Dr. Sarazawa's son," but it was deleted, and I really don't understand why, because we don't know who this guy is. We don't know he's the son of Sarazawa. We're like, who is this guy? He's just another. No, it just could just be another just Japanese guy. Just
Right. Well, and when you think about it, like Dr. Sarazawa's sacrifice in King of the Monsters was like a huge, huge loss in the film, like for the characters, right? And like just like there was a lot of emotional investment, and then in Godzilla versus Kong, like that kind of was something that was glossed over that I think could have been recognized a lot more.
something they should have done is they should have given a reason why he's working with the main villain. Like, obviously, like he sacrificed himself to awaken Godzilla. So I guess he could just be like have resentment against Godzilla.
Right. Yeah. Like, and one would think for anybody who's listening, if you've read the novelization, is that explained in the novelization of the film? Because I don't recall it being explained. But yeah, I think that would be like the big. Okay. Yeah.
Yep, Michael
Michael
says it's
says
been
that.
expanded upon. Yep.
So it just didn't make it to the film, unfortunately.
A lot of things didn't make it to the film, if I'm not mistaken.
The ancient
Right.
rivalry thing. There was like I think there was like going to be more about it, and from what I heard, I guess we were going to know about like the people that were like coexisting with the Titans back in the day.
Like the ancient cultures and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Okay, I have a question, a shameless question.
Oh, dear.
What does everyone think about Kong wielding a superpowered Godzilla spine axe? What are our opinions on that?
I didn't mind it. I liked it for what it
Hmm.
was.
I didn't hate it. I
But-
think it was actually pretty cool.
But like I felt like it was only really like once he loses the axe when he hits Godzilla over the head, then you don't really see it until
Mhm.
Godzilla and Kong and they're all fighting at the end, and then it kind of becomes convenient to like, oh, he has to use the axe to destroy Mechagodzilla.
So at first I thought it was like really cheesy. I was just like, okay, like Kong needs something, right? But then like when I saw like the final battle, I was like, okay, so like practically, obviously Kong would need some sort of tool, and since he is a primate, like that kind of like adds to the evolution of the species. So I was like, okay, that makes sense to me.
It's kind of like with the original King Kong versus Godzilla. It's like if Godzilla and King Kong like went toe to toe, what would happen? Obviously, that's the reason why they gave him the electricity powers in the '60s film, so you can obviously stand a chance.
Can you imagine if they gave him electricity powers in
Oh my.
Godzilla versus Kong? Oh,
It would have been a nice callback, but I don't know how they would have made that work.
we at least got like the stick being shoved in Godzilla's mouth. Like I'm like
I
content with-
laughed so hard at that part.
I know. I was just like, we at least got that. I'm good. We don't need any other callbacks.
I was like, it's something I know.
Right. Or Godzilla kangaroo kicking Kong. Like I was just like, will we get a kangaroo kick?
I would die for that.
Do you think there's something if you like directed Godzilla vs Kong? Is there something you would have changed with the fights?
With the fights? Ooh, that's a
Yes.
good question. I would have had Mechagodzilla appear earlier in the film. Because I didn't feel like the stakes were high enough until like the very like near end of the film. And I would have kind of brought him in earlier to kind of have that be looming over the story and the audience. Does that make sense? To kind of like build up even more.
I mean, they kind of did that. I mean, we definitely saw him much earlier than Doomsday and Batman v Superman. It's the only comparison I can make. But
you really don't like that film, do you? It's okay.
But we get to see him more earlier, so we kind of know who he is. Like they just kind of threw Doomsday in the end, like, oh, we just need some type of fight at the ends.
Yeah. And I know like they didn't show him in full grandeur till the end because like the suspense, like they were using that as like a suspense tactic. But I think if we would have like been more exposed to like the motivations of certain characters, that it would have gotten a little bit clearer, right? Like Ren's motivations, right? I think that would have kind of signaled more to the audience, like, oh, there's something happening.
Yeah, I don't know what I would change about the fights. Just like I said earlier, the characters, fleshed them out a little bit more, and that's really my main problem with these films. Like I said.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Since Kong was kind of the main character in Godzilla vs Kong, he definitely had more screen time. For the
Right.
next film, would you like Godzilla to be more like the main monster, main character?
That would be nice, honestly.
I would prefer that, but like I was satisfied with Godzilla's screen time in like I didn't think that like I feel like the scenes that he was in like did the trick, right? But I do know that like that film also had to like really develop Kong as a character to kind of like humanize him a bit. So that's probably why that he needed extra screen time. So
Well,
I was all right with it.
he probably got more screen time because Godzilla got 2 films and he only had 1, so you kind of have to catch up with him. So
Right.
That's true.
I think that would make sense. Yeah.
That does make sense. Although I personally wouldn't mind seeing another, Godzilla-centric film because, Team Godzilla. I'm wearing a Team Godzilla shirt side by side. So
this
Iconic.
this new Monsterverse film will be Godzilla's 37th film.
indeed,
37.
Wow. Isn't that like mind-boggling to think?
yeah, that's a lot of films.
And it will
Wow.
be his 5th American film too.
Right.
Yes, it will.
I'm just like I am really happy that the Monsterverse is flourishing and doing well, and that there is a market for it. Like that makes me really happy.
And also, it will be the first time that King Kong will have 3 movies in the same series, because usually it's always 2, and then they always end it, and then they do something else.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So Toho announced a while back that they wanted to create their own cinematic universe. Do you think the Monsterverse continuing would complicate this?
Gisela, do you want to go first?
No, you can go first. It's
Okay.
fine.
So you knew I was ready. I was like ready to go.
Ready.
So my immediate question is why haven't we seen anything yet more concrete? Now, I will say that Nathan in the chat mentioned earlier that he thinks that, Toho's announcement during Godzilla's birthday might reveal a new film. So if that is the case, that would be phenomenal. But like we did have this promise of a cinematic universe like not long after Shin Godzilla came out, and that's been 6 years, I think 6 years ago now, which is terrifying to think. I don't think it'll complicate anything necessarily, but I do wonder if Toho is choosing to invest in the Monsterverse more so right now than creating their own cinematic universe. Or maybe they're just sitting on it and waiting longer. I'm not 100% sure. What do you
Yeah, I
guys
don't think it's going to complicate things either. I mean, Toho's always kind of done its own thing, regardless of what America is doing. I mean, they did put out Shin Godzilla, 2 years after the 2014 film. So,
Right.
Just give me a minute, and then I'll have my thoughts on it. So.
No, that yeah, and there. So while you're still thinking on that,
what other cool news items do we have to discuss?
Somebody mentioned earlier that there is going to be a Godzilla versus Gigan short.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. What are your thoughts on that, Donnie?
I am excited. I am really excited. It looked so good. So I appreciate that Toho's doing something.
Yes.
I love the animation on it. Like, it's fantastic. Now, I have a question. Now, this is a kaiju film I think everyone wants to see. Like, I think everyone has asked for it. Would you guys like to see Godzilla versus Gamera?
Godzilla versus Gamera. Yeah.
I would like that.
I think I would like that too.
Who do you think would win?
I would want it to be a tie, honestly. I wouldn't want it to be like clear-cut winner. Like I think a tie would be reasonable.
So like Godzilla versus Kong?
Kind of. Yeah. It's really hard to gauge where that type of film would go. And I think that both studios have been very careful to avoid it. Not that we haven't gotten any Gamma related thing in like 1,000 years, it feels like. So I do miss Gamera. I recently watched Gamera the Brave for the first time, which is the most recent film,
Oh, I like
and I
Isn't that a
really
wonderful
enjoyed
film?
it. Yeah, I
that one
really
was
enjoyed
really
it.
good.
All right, so let's just scrub through this Godzilla versus Gigan teaser here.
Oh, Gigan looks so cool.
He
Gigan's
does.
always looked cool.
So we got multiple Gigans here. That's interesting.
Right.
Something about I have something for the Godzilla cinematic universe thing.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know if you know who this is. Driscoll 23 Jack. Do you know who that is?
I don't think so. I don't, at least.
All right. Well, he knows a lot of Godzilla facts, but he said it was never like a cinematic anything. It was a marketing campaign for toys, shows, comics, and clothing. World of Godzilla is what all the new products are that they keep getting announced and posting about. Its attempt to introduce Godzilla into the mass to a new generation. So that's what that's
Okay, that's interesting. So it was never meant to be a cinematic universe. It was
about.
meant
I
to
don't.
be a commercialized thing.
From the looks of it, yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
interesting.
But if they did do that, like if we, do you think a solo Ghidorah movie would work?
I don't know.
Mm.
I feel like there would need to be a protagonist of sorts. Maybe not necessarily a protagonist, but a heroic character of sorts, and in order to, unless they like illustrate Ghidorah as being like a force of nature, like they've done with Godzilla before.
I mean, it could work maybe if it's like in outer space, but like when you go back to his first film, obviously you had Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan in there too.
Right.
Like because they always say in the show era, like all the terrible things he's done to like other planets. Let's get to see that.
I don't know if that would be best served in a film. I think that would be like a good show. I'm quickly discovering that I think that like the show format for a lot of things does a like allows everyone for expansion. I just heard the beeping in the background. Oh, don't you love it when that happens?
Love it.
I do think that a TV show would allow for more like expansion, which is why I'm grateful that they, for the Monsterverse, are looking at that as well to kind of create some expansion. So
I felt like the anime trilogy really should have been like a TV show, and from what I heard, it
yeah,
was.
Yeah.
well, we could do a
I
whole
have
nother
I have
stream.
I have opinions about the anime trilogy, but
We
that I'm
could
not
do
going
hear
to
them.
share here
do a
because
whole stream
we're
on
getting
that.
a little off topic, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I hated that version of Ghidorah so much. I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm just glad
I
that
have opinions.
Monsterverse Ghidorah wasn't like that. Like I feel like Monsterverse Ghidorah was very satisfying.
Because Doggery knew who the character, like he knew like what it like who he's supposed to be, like a destroyer. He comes from space. He actually has a body and not just spaghetti noodles.
That sounds delicious. I need some spaghetti.
Oh dear God. Okay. So,
So Kim's like, what have I done with this
what
stream
have I
tonight?"
done? Oh man, we can talk about that trilogy another stream.
we'll dedicate a stream to that for sure.
Well, for sure. Maybe on your channel, Donnie. I need to go on your channel.
Okay, that's a good idea. I've been looking for some ideas.
Yeah,
You're
there's really
welcome.
nothing. There's really nothing going on my channel right now. So
All right. So I think we covered all the, or at least most of the kaiju news. Let's see. Any more thoughts about the Godzilla versus Gigan short? What do you think of Godzilla's design here?
I think it looks fine.
Yeah,
Looks
like
like Godzilla.
I think he looks pretty cool. It's kind of like giving me like Heisei vibes ish, which is my favorite version of Godzilla. So
Mhm.
My favorite version is Final Wars Godzilla.
Okay.
Final Wars Godzilla. That's a pretty cool version of Godzilla as well. I think both of the designs look very good. I'm I'm just really excited that we're going to be getting something. It's going to be fun to see Gigan again. Like,
Do you think it?
Where's Gigan Rex?
Would have wished like if it was like guys in suits, like the Ghidorah short from last year?
I'm pretty good either way. Like, if it were, if it was Suitmation, I'd be fine with it. But
Alright.
like, I do like this completely like, use of effects.
If Toho does make another Godzilla film, would you like it to be computer generated, or would you like them to go back to guys in rubber suits, miniatures, practical explosions?
Okay. But before we continue to go off topic, what are your thoughts on the design for Gigan Rex?
It's interesting. I'll just say that.
Sleek. And I like the color. And I just think that Gigan looks a little bit more imposing than before, like a little bit more scary and otherworldly, which I appreciate.
Wait, but it looks like he's fighting like it looks like in the beginning of the trailer he's fighting a guy again that we kind of like we're familiar with in the beginning.
Yeah, and then
So like
I'm wondering if Gigan Rex is like the leader or something. I don't know.
Right.
It's like
because
Ooh,
look, there's like two. There's two Gigans, so obviously he's gonna
Three.
have to be.
I think I see three.
Right.
Is there?
1, 2, 3.
Nathan misses the beak. I do too.
Okay.
That's what I couldn't figure out was missing. Like I was like, something is missing, and that made it easy for me to pinpoint. So thank you for bringing that up.
All right.
I'm wondering if we'll get any other kaiju in the Godzilla vs. Gigan short.
How long do you think it will be? Like the same length as the Ghidorah short?
Probably around the same length.
Yeah.
Maybe a few minutes longer.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. Super excited. So, this is going to be coming out, and then this is coming out the same day as the Against Mechagodzilla thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Godzilla Day.
What do you guys? I mean,
how funny would it be if Gigan Rex is the commander of the OG Gigan or Leather Daddy Gigan?
What do you guys usually do for like Godzilla's birthday?
Well,
a couple of years ago, I attempted to make a birthday cake for Godzilla. It didn't end well.
I make a bowl of popcorn and I either watch Godzilla vs. Biollante, the Kiryu duology, or Shin Godzilla. Sometimes all of them.
I feel like the two best ones to watch for me is the original and Godzilla vs. Destroyer.
Michael wants to know our thoughts on Criterion having the rights to the Millennium and Heisei films. I am 100% on board with that.
My immediate is finally.
If they do like
take my money, take all my money, take it.
Yeah, if they do physical stuff, like I'm not gonna have any money, and also I don't have a job, so that's not gonna be good.
Well, you're gonna have to get a new job so you can have money so you can pay for this.
It's worth it.
Worth it, and so you can go to G Fest next year.
I do really want to go to G Fest sometime. I've never been to one.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yes, I agree with you. Give us Blu-rays, Criterion.
Yeah,
they probably will. I want to see why not, because I think they're not. I think they're not doing the Heisei Blu-rays and Millennium ones that Sony released. So this could be like a good thing to do.
Right.
I just hope it's better quality than the box set that we got, because I don't know if you were a victim of the glue fiasco. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys remember that classic media box set where it was like volume 1 and volume 2, like DVDs?
I think I remember.
I have no knowledge.
Potentially.
Oh well, I just put all the Criterion Blu-rays into that instead of just leaving them in the book. So.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I mean, that book is really cool, though. I will not deny.
We do need Godzilla 1985 on Blu-ray, and I don't think Godzilla vs. Biollante has been released on Blu-ray yet either. I know there's some really odd legalities happening with that film, I think, aren't there?
I think it was released on Blu-ray like years ago, but it's out of print now.
I think it was a
I could be
bootleg.
wrong on that. Don't quote me.
Oh,
I believe that there's an 85 Blu-ray on eBay, but I believe that it's a bootleg. I got a Godzilla versus Biollante Blu-ray, but it was a bootleg.
so Nathan, okay, so Biollante is on Blu-ray, but is it like out of print? Because I've seen so many people complaining that it's like so expensive now.
Yeah, I think it is out of print. I managed to snag the DVD, but I don't
Okay.
have the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I
We've
got
created a think tank. Everyone's answering it in the. I love it.
Yeah,
Some rights need to lapse. Okay, that's what it is.
Mm.
they really should do a like I think like Godzilla 85. I think the company was bought by Disney, from what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
I'd have to look that up. I don't know.
Mm.
So, I mean,
Alright.
ultimately, though, like I think as Godzilla fans, that we can all agree that we are being fed a lot of content, especially from the Monsterverse. So, like that in of itself gives lots of reasons for us to be hopeful for things.
And wait, for back to the like who could the new monster be? You guys said Biollante as like the villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't really like seeing like it could work, but I really see her more as like maybe like on this, like joining forces with Godzilla like instead, because like after all she is like nature, so and
That's true. I think there's a lot of different directions they could go in. Once we
Mhm.
start getting more information, I think it'll be a lot clearer who the big bad will be. But we know they're going to keep that under wraps until
do you think they'll
far
do this?
out.
Do you think they'll do something similar to like they did for Godzilla vs Kong, like two different stories and then they all like come into one thing?
I mean, I feel like that's pretty formulaic for some Godzilla films, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I think we've had a good discussion here tonight. What do you guys think?
Woohoo! I think it's been
Yeah.
a very fun discussion.
Thank
Yeah.
thank
Who
you
would
for
win,
having.
Who would
Mothra
win
or
Mothra?
Jesus?
I mean, Jesus is pretty powerful, but so is Mothra. So
A tie.
Did,
They
wait,
wouldn't fight each other. They would respect. They'd be like, "You're
they just live in
wonderful."
harmony because that's how they roll.
before you go, what are your thoughts on the Mario trailer?
That has.
I've not seen it, so I don't know.
It's fine.
And
I
it's not
suppose.
God. And well, we want to end on a positive Monsterverse note, though, don't we?
Indeed, yes, we do.
But I'll have to go watch it.
I mean,
But
Bowser is a monster, so it
That's
kinda counts.
true. That's a good point. That is a good point.
I hadn't thought of that.
But yeah, I was never been huge into Mario, but the movie looked good, and I don't understand all the hate Chris Pratt gets, but that's another subject for another day. So before we head out of here tonight, I'm going to let you guys plug your stuff. What you got going on? Gzilla, you got anything happening?
Not much really going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any social media that people could follow?
All I have Kamunga the Brave and Gzilla 100, and then I have another account, Zack Snyder and the A word. So that's that.
Okay.
So for me, my YouTube channel is Donny Winter. Pretty straightforward. I do a show every first and third Sunday each month called Growing Up with Godzilla. So if you would like to tune in for that, it's usually at 4 p.m. And my next guest on it that you will be seeing is the Monster Island Film Vault. We had a wonderful discussion.
Ooh.
It'll be a good episode. So stay tuned for that.
I also have a YouTube account. It's called Gzilla 100. I don't really post on it as much. I just really do a lot of stop motion stuff on there.
Ooh, fun. We should get back into that.
Yeah, I will.
Agreed.
I'm planning to do a Lego stop motion short sometime.
Okay.
That's exciting.
All righty. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on to the show. It's been a pleasure. We had a lot of fun here, had a lot of fun discussions.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
And as always, thank you for having me on as well.
Of course, twin. And to you watching at home, thank you so much for taking time out of your day/night to hang out with me and my lovely guests. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like the stream if you had a good time here tonight. And be sure to tune in next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, for another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.